As a leader, being like the American buffalo, very, very powerful. And we create whether we realize it or not. When he was saying, I can't sell a car, I told him, you're absolutely right. And I used one of my favorite quotes by Henry Ford. Whether you say you can or you can't, either way, you're right. What you want to do is be brave enough to ask. Ask somebody, hey, this is what I'm in the middle of. I need help. As we all know, as leaders, nothing, I repeat, nothing in this universe stays the same. Everything's constantly changing. Whatever the storm may be, there are actions you can take.
Welcome to the Leadership and Love podcast. We will cover leadership, mindset, personal development, and sales and marketing. You will experience thought-provoking conversations with both nationally and internationally recognized leaders. Our goal is to inspire you and deliver actionable items that you can implement that are going to help you accelerate your growth. Get ready to discover the magic and the power when you lead with love.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Leadership and Love. And I really enjoy these because it gives me the ability to kind of go places where I normally can't go, or have conversations and share with you wisdom that you normally might not hear in an interview. So today I'd like to share a couple of stories. I was on a call with one of my business clients that I consult. I'm doing some business consulting, and they have a used car lot in a southern state, and they had a couple of weeks where it was pretty tough. And so I shared my Buffalo story with them. And so I want to share my Buffalo story with you as well, because as a leader, being like the American buffalo, very, very powerful. So here's the buffalo story. The American buffalo is just an amazing animal in so many ways. But one of the things that makes it so amazing is that, like many animals, if you'll ever noticed, before there's a storm or the winds start to pick up, you don't hear a lot of or see a lot of birds chirping or flying around. You don't see a lot of animals out. They can sense that the storm's coming. Cows, horses, dogs, cats, buffalo, antelope, deer, all the animal world knows. So one of the things that buffalo do is when there's a storm coming, they head into the storm. And one of the things I was sharing with my business client is this. Most of the time, when we feel fear as a leader and as an individual in this thing called life, when we feel fear, we have one of three responses. And I'm sure most of you have heard this before. It's fight, flight, freeze. Now, the buffalo instinctively knows to head into the storm. And I want you to be aware, if you're listening, I'm doing this visually with my hands as well. If you're the buffalo and the storm's moving towards you at, say, 10 miles an hour, and you're the buffalo walking at 5 miles an hour, that storm isn't going to last as long for you because the storm's moving the opposite direction that you're moving. So that's the fight response. You're going to take action and move into the storm, move into the tough spot. If you freeze, then the storm's going to be as long as the storm's going to be. So if it's an hour-long storm, by freezing, you stand still, you don't move, you don't take action, then that storm's going to last an hour. If you're the buffalo and you're moving into that storm, even at half the speed the storm's coming at you, you're going to be in that storm, I'm going to call it 40 minutes instead of 60 minutes, because the storm's moving in one direction, you're moving in the opposite direction. If you run, fight, flight, or freeze, flight, if you decide to turn and go the other direction, then you're going to be in the storm longer because you're headed in the same direction as the storm. So now you're going with the same direction of the storm. And when the storm catches you, you're going to be actually moving with it because you're fleeing. And so the storm's going to be, you're going to be in that storm longer. You might be in that storm an hour, 20, hour and a half, where if you'd have just stood still, it would have just been an hour. Now, I want to talk about something that was wisdom that my dad shared with me all the time. And what he shared was, it was powerful and simple, and it's applied through the ages. As we all know, as leaders, nothing, I repeat, nothing in this universe stays the same. Everything's constantly changing. Everything's moving. Everything's either shrinking or growing. That includes you. And his wisdom was, this too shall pass. And so I'd like to share with you one of the things that I shared with my client this morning. And that is get off your butt and take action. Fight, flight, or freeze, fight. So if you head into that storm, whatever it may be, a dip in sales, a dip in cash flow, a dip in your help, your employees, or challenges with your employees, oftentimes people won't have the difficult conversation. Oftentimes people will avoid doing the difficult. And again, that just makes whatever situation you're in last longer, because at a bare minimum, if you do nothing, you're going to weather the entire storm for the same length of time that the storm is going to take to pass through. As leaders, we know we can have all kinds of storms. It could be personal problems, personal challenges. Like I said, it could be sales, it could be production, it could be cash flow, all kinds of problems. But if you start taking action, a couple of things will happen. One, you're going to shorten your length of time in the storm. Two, it's going to keep you out of a negative attitude, a negative disposition, and this woe is me and the victim mentality. One of the things I help clients with when I work with them, and again, I helped this business owner this morning, was when we got on the call, he was in a really foul mood and he was very, very negative. And so we get to create whatever we want, and we create whether we realize it or not. When he was saying, I can't sell a car, I told him, you're absolutely right. And I used one of my favorite quotes by Henry Ford. Whether you say you can or you can't, either way, you're right. And so if you continue to tell yourself, I can't sell cars, that becomes your reality. You tell yourself, I can sell cars, that becomes your reality. We literally create the world that we see. If you want to talk more about that or get a clearer understanding of that, please don't hesitate to give me a call. I'll be happy to jump on a call with you and explain that. But for today, what I want you to know is that in any storm, whatever the storm may be, there are actions you can take. This is one of the reasons why it's important to have coaches, mentors, consultants, people that you can call and say, hey, this is what I'm in the middle of. This is also important to have a network, because you can reach out to your network. I just recently, in one of my businesses, the body shop, we went through a weird kind of time, something that I've never seen in 44 years. But I can tell you, we've been busy, the entire staff, we've been busy taking positive actions to get sales back up. And sure enough, our storm was a whole lot shorter than it would have been had we done nothing. And everybody on the team understood, and we all started taking action. And so again, sometimes if you freeze because you don't know what to do, then what you want to do is be brave enough to ask. Ask somebody, hey, this is what I'm in the middle of. I need help. Or do you know somebody that can help me with this? Because there's always a solution. I want to share one more story with you, and I think it's very powerful. It's also one of the big reasons why I believe the great leaders are readers. I saw Will Smith on The Tonight Show when Jay Leno was still the host. And normally I don't stay up that late, but on this particular evening, for whatever reason, I was still up. And I caught Will Smith. And at the time, he was promoting the movie Independence Day. Now, this is long before he slapped Chris Rock on national TV. And that's probably a story for a whole nother day about leadership and examples and setting the example. But he was promoting this movie Independence Day, and Jay Leno asked him a question about success and those kinds of things. And they're both by trade comedians. And Will Smith gave him a serious answer. Will Smith said, my secret to success is running and reading. And Jay Leno, again, not going down the comedic road, asked him, can you explain yourself? And Will Smith said, sure. He said, when I had to get into shape for this movie called Independence Day, where he played a U.S. Marine officer, he said, I had to run. And he said, I realized that my body could run farther than my mind thought it could. And he said, the second thing, it's my key to success, is he said, I don't care what your problem is or who you are. Somebody's already had that problem. Somebody's already figured out that problem. They wrote the answer or the solution to your problem down in a book. All you have to do is go read the book. You don't have to go reinvent the wheel. Very, very powerful wisdom. And it's one of the reasons why I read every day. If you're listening to this, I always love to have you go away with some action items that you can take. What's something that keeps reoccurring in your life? Is it relationship challenges? Is it cash flow? Is it sales that's down or very cyclical? Then start to go read and become an expert on those things. Here's something very fascinating. If you find the top 10 books on sales, and in today's world, Google it, AI it, find the top 10 things, the top 10 books in sales. If you read just 3 of those books, you'll be an expert in sales. People pay you to stand in front of the room and talk. It's one of the reasons why when I speak, I've got a bunch of information that people in the room don't have because I'm reading every day. Not only do I read every day, but then I go apply it. And even if you apply one thing from a book that you've read, that's one more thing that you can now add to your toolbox that you can use to grow sales, to manage your team, to improve cash flow. The list goes on and on. Building relationships, better communication, team building, culture, whatever you want to grow, it's not hard. And if you're really in the crisis of you're in the storm, then reach out to people who've been in the storm and have been where you're at and know how to find their way out. I'll give you a great example of this also when you reach out to people. Somebody gave me this advice a long time ago. If you have $1 million to invest, would you go to an investment advisor that only has $100,000 invested? Heck no. He doesn't know how to invest to the level you do. You've got $1 million, he's got $100,000. So when you're in the storm and you need help, you want to find people that have been there, done that, people for you, for your line of work, as business owners, as moms, as dads, as teachers, as students, whatever it may be. You want to find people that have been there and done that. And I guarantee when you're brave enough to reach out for help, not only are you being the buffalo and heading into the storm, lessening the time in the storm, but you're also going to accelerate your speed through the storm, because the people, if you reach out to the right people, they're going to speed you up. They're going to know the fastest, easiest way to get you to where you want to go, shortening your time in the storm. And if you're really wise, then you implement that in your processes. I talk about processes all the time. I love processes. But you implement this one new thing in your process, and now the thing that was cyclical, whether it's cash flow, sales, whatever that may be, it now is no longer cyclical because you continue to add these new processes that prevents it from being so cyclical. And again, that doesn't mean you're not going to have the storms. It just means that at some point you're going to get better and better and better and have a better fortress to weather the storm, and more importantly, speed your way through that storm. So the whole message here is be the buffalo. For today's action, go find the list of books, the top 10 books in the area in your life, your business, and your leadership that you're struggling with. It might flat out be leadership. There's lots of great books on leadership. I would highly recommend, if you're going to go down the leadership road and you're looking for books, I would highly recommend you look up some of Coach John Wooden's stuff. That man was just brilliant when it came to leadership, and he led with love. Great role model if leadership is one of your things. If you're looking for my thoughts on a specific book in a specific area to help you through a specific storm, it's a lot of specific stuff, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can reach out to me at Louie@thegiftedleader.com, and I'll be happy to give you my recommendations on sales, management, team building, marketing, all those kinds of things, cash flow, lots of things you can do. They're very, very powerful. So I hope you got great value out of this episode. Again, I love doing these solo episodes. This is one of my favorites because you get to be the buffalo. And at that point, your life's going to get easier. The storms will be shorter, and you'll get to your dreams sooner. Remember, leadership is the glue that makes your dreams come true. Have a great day.
Thanks again for joining us and listening to this episode of Leadership and Love. I would like to challenge you to ask yourself, what's one thing that you heard today that you can implement immediately to improve your leadership and accelerate your growth? If you've gotten value out of this episode or learned something that you can implement today, we'd ask that you please share it with those that you care about. Our goal is to create more leaders who are leading with love.